One of the big challenges facing Christianity today is confronting this gap between learned Christianity and lived Christianity. A young woman who worked for me, this was her first trip, and I remember we were walking out of the Garden of Gethsemane, and she turned to me and she said, "You know, this is a girl, by the way, who grew up in church her whole life." She says to me, "I don't think I really ever understood that Jesus was a real person." Like a believer, somebody who says, "I am a Christian and it means something to me," until that moment didn't actually understand that this was a real thing and that Jesus himself was a real person.
I was searching for a long time to sort of understand what my purpose here is in this world. It was very important to me that I created something that had a lasting effect. And now I'm gonna cry. I had gotten divorced and had gone through some personal difficulties. And I remember sitting on a bench in a street in Tel Aviv, talking to Hashem, to God, and saying, what do you want from me? Like, why is all this happening? There has to be a purpose. I believe that there's a reason, but help me see it. Help me discover it. I had a moment where I realized that it had to do something with the Christian people. It just hit me in my gut, and I knew that this was it, that we're in a unique moment in history where a program like Passages can come to life. My great-grandmother, my grandfather, when they were living in Germany, there's no way that they could envision a time where Jews and Christians can come together in a positive way.
Jews and Christians, unfortunately, although sprung from a common source, have been anything but friends for the last 2,000 years. The history between us has been, let's say, checkered at best.
To come to Israel, to discover our shared values, and to build off of that is, I think, something incredible. And I feel very blessed to be part of that.
I truly believe that this encounter, the spiritual encounter of Christians coming from the West, back to the Near East, back to where everything started, to meet the people, hear the languages, see the places, understand where they fit in the story, is the spark that will ignite revival in this country.
My hope for Passages is that all these incredible future leaders, that they take this experience and that it becomes a part of their journey, their life journey, their leadership journey.
Christians who have that experience with the land, but also with the people themselves, the conduit for this God that we all worship, understand their faith. They feel their faith in a much different way. They become part of that big story. This, to me, is the program. There's nothing else like it out there.
Yeah, what's your most cherished memory in the Passages experience?
After every day, these days are very long, we do a debrief. And there was one specific debrief that sticks in mind. They had just visited Yad Vashem, Israel's Holocaust Museum. And one of the participants very courageously shared that his great-grandfather was one of the guards at Auschwitz. And then the participant sitting next to him, she said that her great-grandfather was one of the soldiers, American soldiers, that liberated Auschwitz. And then the Israeli guide said that his grandparents were inmates in Auschwitz. And it was just incredible to me to see, to witness that moment where their ancestors had a very different history and a very different interaction. But here in Israel, in Jerusalem, we were all coming together in this most positive way. And that's when I realized that the possibilities are endless.